Hello, everybody. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans and warm greetings from the High 10. It is Sunday, December 1st, 2019. How y'all doing out there? Thanks for joining me. I feel so humble and blessed today. Today's a beautiful day in the High 10. It is sunny, windy, but baby, it feels wonderful outside. And I'm sure those of you who are shopping are getting it on, honey. Try to get those deals before December 25th. And please stay safe out there for those of you who will be doing a lot of holiday shopping. I want to bring you an update to one story that I've been talking about, and a new story today. There was a mass shooting this morning in the wee hours in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it reads as follows. Okay, at least 11 people were injured in a mass shooting on outside on Canal Street, and there was a McDonald's that was, I guess, next door to I think it may have been some type of, I don't know if it was a bar or an establishment, but this is on Canal Street in the 700 block, if you're familiar with New Orleans, and 11 were injured, 2 in critical condition at the hospital. 1 walked in early in the morning, I guess before news story broke, and I thought that was kind of odd. 'Cause it was kind of like, that's interesting, a person walking into a hospital after hours after a shooting. But anyway, as I stated, 700 block of Canal Street near Bourbon Street, 2 in critical condition. The police do not know the motive for the shooting. At one point, they thought that someone or persons were shooting at them because they were already on that block or in that area, but they came to see that it was shooting outside of an establishment, and there were spent casings on the ground. They have the Louisiana State Police and federal officers are investigating this crime. No police officers were shot. They have 1 person detained, but they are talking to this person. So as of yet, this person has not been deemed a suspect. You can travel down this road if you do live in New Orleans. It is accessible, that you could travel on this road. Now, mind you, I'm going to give you a little bit of update of what has transpired in the city in the past couple of years pertaining to this incident. 3 years ago, 2016, 10 people were shot on the same street. In 2004, several people were shot on Bourbon Street. So I don't know if this is just bad luck, bad timing in this state. In the city, mind you, that people kind of like shooting in the month of December down there on Canal Street and Bourbon Street. But my prayers are with those people. I hope they get the suspects that are involved in this crime, because that's just horrible. And obviously, maybe people were filing out of the establishment, because I don't really know what it was. They didn't say in this update that I got. But obviously, people were probably standing outside, coming out perhaps. I do not know. But they were shot outside. So that, you can kind of think this was right before 3:30 in the morning. So you have all these people standing out, probably gathering, talking, and boom, who knows? I don't know if there was an altercation, fight. This is the only information I have, but I will bring you guys an update to this story. I just want to make sure I got everything okay. But as I stated, 11 injured, 2 in critical condition, and 1 walked in late morning into the hospital. Now, I want to bring you all information on a story that we have talked about profusely on this channel. It is pertaining to Miss Cupcake McKinney. There has been some video released of her parents, the mother, Miss April Thomas, celebrating Thanksgiving at a relative's home, I'm assuming, and they're out sitting around playing a game. Well, what I found interesting about that video footage is that you didn't see anybody's faces, which I thought was odd. Why is that? Anyway, another video was released of Mr. Dominic McKinney at the gravesite of Miss Camille McKinney, and he's planting flowers and filming. Someone was filming him, obviously. And once again, Mr. McKinney has a phone in his hand, which I thought was kind of cheesy. Yeah, I'm saying that. Kind of cheesy. And then he's fumbling with the flowers, and then he goes to proceed over to another gravesite and wipe it off, and it belongs, I guess, to a fallen officer that was murdered in Birmingham, and I saw him wiping that off, and I thought, no, why are you doing that? Yeah, I'm going to say it, because I decided I'm not going to bite my tongue about these people, because really I don't even really like talking about them that much, because it's just a bunch of shenanigans, and that's what I thought when he was wiping off that tombstone of the other fallen officer. Doing the most. Doing it for show. And that's what I thought. But anyway, that was their way, I guess, his way of wishing his child a happy Thanksgiving. And I also heard that Miss April took a cross and laid it on her gravesite before he went. What I want to discuss is the interview that was done by Miss April Thomas with a church member or some lady of a church that I had never seen until last night. And also, I want to give my commentary on that said video. I'd just like to say that it is December 1st. It sounds funny even saying it because that much time has elapsed since the child disappeared and then found deceased. My take on the situation with Miss Thomas is still the same. I still feel the same way. I feel like she was neglectful that evening. I feel like her commentary in her interview and video is still nonchalant. She did not give a timeline. People are still asking that same question. People are still inquiring about what time it was. I think she hung herself by doing the live feed in her car and that interview, stating that she arrived at that place of where the cousins lived in Tom Brown, and it was daylight, but yet the child was taken at about 7:24, lured away from that park, which, like I said, we now know the clock was an hour ahead for those who don't know. So I still feel like the truth has not been spoken about that evening. We're only getting just a little bit of, I went to the park at a game, then I went to Tom Brown, hung out with my cousin. My child played at this party where my relatives were. I changed her bottoms because she used the restroom on herself. Then obviously the child went back out. And then she's, suddenly, doesn't even really say, hey, I sent my child out to go get Cupcake. It was, what was the word she used? I knew something wasn't right or something, kind of mumbled that, and then said, he came back, said he couldn't find her. Well, see, as I stated, and that's why I didn't really want to talk about this, because I'm sick of the lies. You send your cousin, I'm assuming, to the news to say that you watched her play in the bouncy house, and then you came back in for 3 minutes, you went back out, you looked. Now, these live feeds and interviews are stating you sent him to go get her, and he couldn't find her. So which is it? Did you watch her out in the bouncy house or you didn't? Did you send your child to go find her? Because it can't be both. And so see, we barked and barked about wanting her to speak, and she has finally spoken. But the stories are still conflicting for those of you who still rally behind her. I still feel like she is responsible. I still feel as if, I feel as though the police let the child down as well by not charging her with child neglect. I think they were too adamant in finding a suspect, plural, and they were just heated in getting someone arrested. Now, did those two commit this crime? I don't know. Now, by no means am I trying to root for them, but things still seem odd. In our opinions, most of us came to this conclusion that those two may not be involved as far as the murder because of things that the father said during his live feeds and news commentary. So I feel like she neglected her children because her live feed and interviews gave a different portrayal of a parent who leaves their children unattended. This is their everyday schedule. In her words, these are her words, not mine. This is my Cupcake's everyday schedule. It is normal to play with the cousins. What children don't play with their relatives? Well, see, the problem with that is she's still a baby and considered a baby at 3, so she has no business out in the dark. And we know nobody was above age that could render help because she was taken. You see. So to say and use as an excuse family time, friend time as an excuse for a child getting kidnapped is preposterous. And I'm sick of hearing it. Because if an adult or even an older child was around that could say, hey, where you going? Hey, you don't know her. You see where I'm going? Then that person would have been scared off and went on about their business, because they would have said to themselves if they had some sense, they see me trying to leave with this child, children, whatever, they go on their merry way. And that's how I feel about that situation. That her stories are conflicting as of today. The live feed and interview she gave is not the version that the cousin took to the news, Miss Long took to the news. And what I find odd is that girl spoke and said they thought, some of the family members thought that Star worked and the girl weren't behind it. But yet now here you come with your live feed, bashing them that they did this and preyed on your child. I'm confused. And that's why I really don't even like mentioning her name. Because as you see, for those of you who are staying woke on this story, she just lied. Because the child couldn't be on the playground with the sister at the park or basketball court and be inside taking orders from the mother to go find the child, go get her rather. And these rumors circulating about him calling 911, I don't know if that is true, but that's suspicious to me as well. Why would a child be calling 911? Seems like to me that would be a mother's job, a parent's job. Still no talk of the Caucasian lady. No talk of the other car that was involved. Just things I was hearing on other people's channels. And shout out to SP Nuggets and Planet of the Fakes. Planet of the Fakes. Great video. Thanks for letting me know you had it. I watched it. And I'm not impressed. And that's my opinion on Miss April Thomas. And all this crazy people talk about YouTube and this, that, and the other and all that. Well, let's keep it 100. Thank your baby daddy for putting your name out there and throwing you under the bus alongside your cousin and up to 2 other individuals for allegedly kidnapping your child. You see, your baby daddy did that. And yes, I think it's noble that you wouldn't want to bash him. Why feed the fire? I'll give you that. But what I could not do, as you would say, what I'm not going to do, I would not stand by and let anybody implicate me in a child's disappearance. I don't give a damn who they are. I would have been spoken, and I would have told the chief that I have to redeem myself because I have to live with myself. You do not. The baby daddy does not. I have to walk around Birmingham. So I'm going to speak to the public and let them know, whether they believe me or not, I had no knowledge or involvement in the disappearance of my child. And I'll let that lay where it laid and would not have worried about social media, Facebook or YouTube. Because in the end, you're right. We don't feed you. We don't do nothing for you. But we are spectators and we are human. And what you need to know, sister, is before October 12th, 13th, when it went viral that your child was missing, we didn't know who you were. We didn't know anything about you. You or your child or the father. And as far as the 2 guns situation, let me make this clear to one of my commenters. You may not like 2 guns. I don't know him personally, and I don't try to get into that man's business or bring anything he has done or accused of here recently into the platform, because what I keep trying to tell some of you who do not listen, 2 guns is not the subject. The 3 people who saw Mr. McKinney allegedly with the child that night on that road, Carson Road or whatever, they're not the subject. Yes, they're part of the shenanigans because you don't know what to believe. But they are not the subject. 2 guns is not the subject. Yeah, I told somebody, I think he's funny. I've made that clear. You know, he's animated. He knows that. He knows himself. But all this commentary about him, clout chasing this and that, everyone is entitled to their opinion. I think he's, like, as I said, he's a very animated character, such as somebody else who was animated on here when they was talking to the news. Didn't nobody know 2 guns before October 12th. So you put that on paper. Okay? 2 guns is not the subject. He's just a side piece, a sideshow of this child's death. And nobody knew who he was before October 12th. Mr. McKinney put 2 guns in it and brought his name up in it. And I'm glad somebody mentioned that on another lady's channel. I can't remember her name. But I'm glad it was mentioned because somebody mentioned that. I guess somebody's trying to say he's clout chasing, whatever. Everybody can thank Mr. McKinney for all this shenanigans and show, because he is the one originally that got the ball crunk talking about the mother, the cousin, Mr. Two Guns and his friend. So that's what you all need to understand. Nobody knew anything about the cousin. Nobody knew anything about Two Guns and his friend. And I'm going ahead saying this and getting it over with because I don't want to keep talking about it. It's a bunch of bull to me. They're not the subject. It's who took the child and how the child got missing in the first place. And somebody has to own responsibility. And as long as you are the caregiver, the custodial parent, which you like to throw out there so much, you have to own your responsibility. Nobody wished death on that child or any child. But children are not grown. They're not on their own schedule. That was your schedule. Stop saying that. Sounds ridiculous. You talk about her like she's an adult. I noticed that too in your comments. This is her everyday schedule. So her everyday schedule is to go hang in the projects. Okay? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful about the projects, but I'm speaking literally. To say that a child, okay? This is their everyday schedule, their normal schedule to go hear my mother's cousins, woo, woo, woo. I pick them up, I go over there after work, woo, woo, woo. You are entitled, yes, to go where you see fit to go. It's your business. But to say that it's the child's schedule sounds preposterous to me, because we know that the child is 3. She goes where her parent takes her. How about this? And some of you may not like what I'm going to say, and I don't care, because Big Ange keeps it 100. How about this, Miss Lady? Since you think it's okay to hang in the bricks every day and you do not live there, what's wrong with taking your child to another park to play? Chuck E. Cheese when you can afford to go. How about the public library? I hear they got lots of things going on in there that can cater to a child. They have public readings, activities. Check out periodicals so your child can learn how to read and function in school, since she was about to start school eventually. You all see where I'm going with this? Yes, I'm an avid reader. Was a reader myself as a child. How you think I'm able to use the words I use? Because I chose to read. And my mother was not a very literate person. So you see what I'm saying? You got to get the drive from somewhere. And she made sure I read. You feel me? So how about engaging children in positive activities, things that can keep their mind flowing instead of hanging in the same place every day? And even if you don't have children, same place every day is monotony, is redundant. Change is good. Come on with it. And then in that interview, that struck me something else that was out of that little interview she did with that church lady. All this talk about God, God. That's interesting. You never talked about God on that Facebook page much before that child went missing. But isn't it amazing how when terrible things happen, tragedy occurs, we can talk about what God is about and what his expectations are of us as people. Interesting. No Bible quoting before she went missing. Not a whole lot of footage about that other son either. And people are talking about that as well. Not seeing much of the son on the Facebook page. I don't trample over there to that page much. Only when you all mention something to me, I try to stay clear of it. Because I feel like, what's the point? I only go if it's pertinent information to do the updates. And once I hear the other, things are circulating, I say, well, I best bring it because I'm not talking about it, so they'll figure like why she's not mentioning it. But yes, people are still talking, and they're saying things about the son. Why we don't hear anything about the son? Why we don't see anything on the page about the son? Everything's about the deceased daughter. And that is to be expected, because she did lose a child. I'm not going to hate, because the child is relevant, will always be relevant. But it's just interesting how a lot of things and details come out now that she decided she wants to speak. And another thing, and I'm going to check on out of here, the fact that you now want to reveal that the father has not contacted Amari is disturbing to me and disgusting. But I think we already knew things were not well between you two. And he's just a pig, a dirty pig. Don't even check on his own son. One text, what is that? Why? So that makes me wonder, does he even contend with the other two children that he has by Miss Paulisha? You know, that's foul. That child needs both parents. But then, as I always told you all, from what I've seen from day one, I didn't think Cupcake stood a chance with these people because their lives seem chaotic. Although the mother likes to play the role that she does not indulge in certain activities, she's a plain Jane. Well, you see, being a plain Jane doesn't really mean anything because the child had two parents. And they can see and they can hear. And now that you have divulged that the father is not even coming around the son, that would lead one to think he wasn't coming around when Cupcake was living. And I think it's pathetic. And frankly, with the rumor circulating that he helped get out there, running his mouth on TV, I wouldn't want him around my son. And even if we found out he never had anything to do with that child's disappearance and death, I still wouldn't want him around my child. Because let me tell you something. Ain't no Negro gonna throw me under the bus in a conspiracy of kidnapping and slander my name and think he's going to come around my other child. No, ma'am. I won't get down like that. Now, you all do what you want because you're grown. But he is a coward. And he is a cloud chaser. And he is selfish and he doesn't care about anybody. And mostly, I feel sorry for Amari. I really, really do. He seems like a sweet child. But what does he have to look forward to? Two parents don't even speak and talk to each other. And he's got to grow up with this stigma of what happened to his sister. It's terrible. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. I'll be bringing you another update soon. Bye-bye.